Hello and welcome to the OWC instructional series of videos. In this installment, we're going to show you how to upgrade the SSD in a 2012 MacBook Pro with Retina display to an OWC Mercury Aura Pro SSD. We've already gathered our materials, shut down the MacBook Pro, and have placed it on a soft, static-free work surface. We are now ready to begin. The first thing to do is close your MacBook Pro and flip it over. On the bottom are 10 5-point Torx screws in 3 different lengths. As you remove them, it may be useful to keep the screw groups separated so you can easily replace them later. First, use the pentalobe screwdriver to remove the 2 center screws along the hinge edge. These 2 are shorter than the others. Next, remove the 4 screws along the sides. These screws have a collar on them and are longer than the others. Finally, remove the 4 screws along the front edge. These screws have a slightly smaller collar and are sized between the other 2. You can now lift the bottom cover up and off. The SSD is located here. First though, we'll need to disconnect the battery, which is located here. To disconnect the battery, first lift up the tab covering the battery connector. Then, use a nylon pry tool or your fingernail to gently lift up the edges of the connector until it comes free. To remove the SSD, you'll first need to remove the single Torx T5 screw holding it in. Once the screw is removed, you can gently slide the SSD out of its socket. The notch on the Mercury Aura Pro corresponds with the pin in the socket. Simply line the 2 up and slide the drive into place. Once you've done that, let the drive lay flat and secure it in place with the Torx T5 screw. You can now reconnect the battery by lining up the connector and simply pushing it into place. You can then replace the tab covering the connector and set the bottom cover back into place. There are 3 different size screws that go into the bottom. If you didn't keep them separated, you'll want to be sure you have the right screws going into the right spots. The 2 short screws with no collar go into the 2 center holes along the hinge edge. The 4 longest screws with the larger collar go along the sides, closest to the hinges. Finally, the 4 remaining mid-size screws go along the front edge. You may now flip your MacBook Pro over, open it up, and turn it on.